Hey everyone, thank you for watching. In today's video, I am so excited to do because we are going to be playing a game. We are going to be playing a game with eyeshadow palettes in today's video. So we are going to be discussing kiss, marry, or kick when it comes to these eyeshadow palettes. And this video is a collab, and the video idea is from my friend Makeup Just for Fun, or Amanda. She reached out to me a couple months ago, and when she suggested this game, I was all for it. I think this sounds hilarious. So we have several different rounds, 7 or 8 different rounds I think it is, where we have 3 eyeshadow palettes in each, and we have to decide which one would we kiss, which one would we marry, and which one would we kick. So there is a popular game with just a little bit of different phrasing. Typically you do it with like people, celebrities, football players, whatever. I've also seen it done with social media. I've seen people play it with like YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, which I thought was really funny, but I've never seen it done yet with makeup. So when Amanda mentioned this to me, I was like, we have to do this. So if you want to see which eyeshadow palettes I would kiss, marry, or kick, let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so like I said, this video is a collab with the lovely Makeup Just for Fun. So I'm going to have her channel linked down below, and also her video. Like I said, this was her idea, and I'm so excited to do it with her. If you are not familiar with Amanda, she has great videos. She's definitely one of the like Colourpop queens out there. She does so many great comparison and swatch videos. She's also just someone who has been a friend of mine for several years. We have met a handful of times in person, which is always so exciting. I think I actually get to see her in person in 2023, which is always such a big deal when we actually get to meet each other and hug each other. And she's one of those that the first time I met her, I was like, yeah girl, what's up? We gonna be friends. And we were Zooming together during the pandemic. You know, I was using like the Marco Polo app with friends too, but Amanda and I were literally on Zoom with each other, just chatting and keeping each other happy and occupied and talking about other things than what was happening all around the world. And I just really appreciate her friendship and our genuine connection so much. So I hope that you will check out her channel, and thank you so much to Amanda for asking to collab with me on such a fun video idea. And then before we jump into it, I want to say hello if you are coming from Amanda's channel. My name is Samantha. I am also doing Vlogmas, so posting videos every single day in December. You get a lot of content from me over here. I do a lot of beauty videos. I do some book videos because I am a published author. My 9th novel, which is the 6th, BREELY, is going to be available this Tuesday, December 13th, which I am so beyond thrilled for. It is the 4th book in my series called The 6th, and it is my 9th title overall. So it is available for pre-order now on Amazon, and I think probably by the time this video goes live, the paperback pre-orders will also be available on my website, which is bysamanthamarch.com, where I do also own my own small business and have products focused around inspiration, goal planning, motivation. We just recently came out with a hardcover gratitude journal. We have some goal trackers and some sticky notes. If you are not subscribed over here yet, I sincerely hope that you will subscribe. I also always start my videos with an outfit of the day. So this is what we are rocking today. We just have on some jeans and this crop turtleneck sweatshirt. I absolutely love this orange color. I've had both of these for a very long time, so I don't know if I will be able to find them to link them in my description box, but I will also link my makeup. I'm just wearing a Colourpop Super Shock shadow, and this one is in Secret Garden, which I thought was super stunning. So again, everything will be linked in my description box, but let's hop in to the game. So I'm gonna scoot over a little bit. I'm just gonna insert, I don't have all of these palettes that we will be discussing, so I'm gonna insert the photos here that she sent to me. She put together the different trios, and of course, please leave in the comments what you would do, and I'll kind of explain my reasoning behind them. So first round, we have the OG Beauty YouTube palettes. So we have the Urban Decay Naked palette, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance, and then the Tarte Tartelette palette. I have tried all 3 of these. So how I was thinking of it is Kiss is the one that's kind of like, I'm looking at these palettes as like the flash in the pan, like the bad boy, the just get it out of your system. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking for these eyeshadow palettes, okay? And then Mary is like the long-term, like not gonna let you down, stable. It's coming from a divorcee, so okay, all right, let's keep going. And then we have Kick. Kick. So these are gonna be the palettes that we don't care for. We don't need them in our lives. Like we can get rid of them. In the original game, it's something different, but I like that we're going with Kick here. So we're kicking these eyeshadow palettes. We're kicking them out of our collection. So what I ended up going with for Kiss, I did the Tarte Tartelette palette. And the reason why I did this one is because I used to really enjoy this palette. This was probably one of my first eyeshadow palettes from Tarte. And we had like a solid love affair for a little bit there. We had a solid love affair for a little bit. So I mean, I liked it, and then I kind of went off Tarte for a little bit, and I've never really fully gotten back into the brand. So again, like we had our time, we had our fling. The Tartelette palette. And then for Mary, of course, Anastasia Modern Renaissance. That one, I just enjoy the Anastasia palettes so much. The Modern Renaissance, just again, that OG, that's the category that we're in. It is that OG makeup palette that so many people lost their minds over. I can remember the craziness of it selling out and people trying to find it, and all of these YouTube videos going up with all of these tutorials on the Modern Renaissance palette. And the Anastasia palettes continue to be such good staples in my collection, and they don't let me down. So Modern Renaissance had to go in there. And then for Kick, I'm actually doing the Urban Decay Naked palette. And I feel like, I was like, oh, should I do that? But I was actually not an OG Urban Decay girl. The Naked palette, like I didn't own the Naked palette until I got it sent to me in PR. And this was like a few years after starting my YouTube channel. When all of my friends had the Naked palette, I just like wasn't into it. I was into like Too Faced palettes, even like some of like the Benefit palettes, the CoverGirl singles. I just was not into the Urban Decay. So out of all of these, like I didn't even have a love affair with that one, like the Tartelette palette. So we're gonna kick the OG Naked palette. I'm already having way too much fun with this video, but round two, we have Huda Beauty palettes. So we have the Empowered palette, we have the Rose Quartz, and we have the Mercury Retrograde. So for this one, I'll do like opposite. I'll try to like switch up my lines here. So for Kill, I'm actually gonna do the Mercury Retrograde. This is the only palette out of this trio from Huda Beauty that I have not tried, but I was looking at the coloring in here. Out of the Huda Beauty palettes, this is one that just never really spoke to me. I was never really super interested in it, so I don't have it in my collection to kick it out if we were going that route, but it's just one of those that I don't feel like I need. And then for Kiss, I put in the Rose Quartz. I have this eyeshadow palette and I do think that it's very pretty. It's one of those that I wasn't expecting to enjoy so much, but I do think that it's really beautiful. It's actually a little bit darker, like it has a little bit more depth when you actually use it in person than what you see on camera here. Is it gonna be one of those that it's like, I reach for this every single day or every single week, like it's a constant staple in my life? No, but it's a good little love affair, hey? And then for Mary, we have the Empowered palette. I actually have a brown shadow from the Empowered palette on my lower lash line. I've been talking about this one probably, what, the past like month or two on my YouTube channel, since it's a fairly newer one. It was a palette I wasn't expecting to love, but I love the cream shades in there. I love just like the shiny beautifulness of some of the shades. This is one that I keep reaching for. And with this color scheme, I'm just like, I'm all about it. This could definitely be, you know, very much a staple in my collection that I keep using and I keep reaching for, and it is that palette that I constantly go back to, so I think that would be the perfect one for Mary. All right, for the next trio, I thought this was quite funny. We have universally hated palettes / palettes that got bad reviews. I stared and I stared and I stared at this and I was like, I don't know how to pick categories for this. So I don't feel the most confident in my answers here. I would love to hear yours, but this is what we came up with. So for this one, we have Colourpop Candyland, the Anastasia Subculture, and then from Huda Beauty, her Pastels Obsessions palette. So in the photo, we have Lilac, Rose, and also Mint. I was like, what? Okay, this one was very challenging. So for Mary, I ended up going with the Colourpop Candyland. And the reason why I decided to do that is because I really like Colourpop as a brand as a whole. And I feel like even when they have bad releases, like they redeem themselves and they come back. You know what I'm saying? Like there's been plenty of eyeshadow palettes from Colourpop that I haven't enjoyed. And then like their very next release, I'm like, yeah. So it's like, you know, again, coming from a divorcee, but marriage is ups and downs and compromises. And sometimes you're down or they're down. You got to pick each other up. Like that maybe is how I would describe Colourpop. This was a hard one, okay? So that's where we went with that one. For Kiss, I put Subculture because Subculture was like the bad boy of this particular time frame in beauty YouTube. Everyone lost their minds over the Subculture palette and just the debacle of, is it good? Is it bad? Is Anastasia lying to us? Is Anastasia canceled? Like, it was just so bananas what was happening at that time. But Subculture, the bad boy. So that was like, that's a Kiss. And then for Kick, I did the Huda Beauty palettes. I actually never, the pastel palettes, I don't think I tried. I did like her original 9-pan palettes, but then some of the other ones that came later, I didn't really love. So again, I feel like I could kind of kick these ones out of my collection, if you will. So that was tough. I want to know your answers in the comments because that one was super hard. For round 4, we have universally loved Mauve palettes. This was so hard for me because Mauve is one of my favorite shades. But we have from Natasha Denona, the Retro palette, favorite. Sigma Beauty, New Mod, favorite. And then from Pat McGrath, this is the Mothership, what is it? Mothership Rose palette. Yes, from Pat McGrath. Okay, so for this one, seriously, such a hard category. So for Kiss, I put the Natasha Denona Retro. I love this palette. It's a favorite of mine. I love the Natasha Denona formula. I was going back and forth between my two favorites of what I would do, but the Natasha Denona, little bit on the darker side, even though I love the jewel tones and I think it's so beautiful, it's not one of those that's like an everyday palette for me. I can make it every day, like I can make everyday looks from this, but when I think of an everyday eyeshadow palette, like day in, day out, this is who I'm coming home to, I would have to give that one to the New Mod. So I would marry the New Mod. Again, similar in tones and the Mauve shades, but like the Sigma formula, Sigma and Natasha Denona are two of just my absolute favorite eyeshadow formulas. And the New Mod is so stunning and just right up my alley. I could wear this every single day without fail. I could do really basic. You could go a little bit more. I don't do like really out there eye looks. So again, Natasha Denona, I would give to Kiss. New Mod, I would give to Mary, and then I'll kick the Pat McGrath as I gulp nervously. But I'm not the biggest fan of the Pat McGrath eyeshadow formula. Like, it's fine, but I do think that it's very expensive. So I know that I could kick that one to the curb. Sorry, anti-Pat. All right, next round we have OG warm tones. Okay, OG warm tones. So we have the Tartelette Toasted palette. Then we have the Anastasia Soft Glam, and then we have the Colourpop Yes Please. So for this one, I decided to marry Soft Glam because again, the Anastasia palettes, they're staples. They won't let me down. They will always be there for me in a hard time. They'll always be there for me in a hard time. I just love the Anastasia palettes, and the Soft Glam is just one of my, it's my number 2 palette. I have a video ranking all my Anastasia palettes. It's my number 2 palette. I love the Sultry. And then for Kill, I did the Tartelette Toasted palette. I tried that one and I liked it. Again, I thought about putting this one in the Kiss category, but I ended up putting Kiss as Yes Please because this one from Colourpop is just like a fun, punchy, different palette. Like I remember when this got launched and it was like, wow, there's a yellow, and like, wow, there's orange. And I actually really like wearing those colors on my eyes. Yellow, orange, red. I think they pair really complementary with my green eyes. So I love wearing those kinds of shades. So that is why I decided the Tartelette Toasted, that one is gonna be what I kick. The Yes Please, that's like my, just here for a good time, you know? Those were gonna be our original 5, but we decided to add it in a few more categories. So let me switch over to my other notes because now we have the Colourpop Mega Palette. So for this one, we have Bare Necessities, Stone Cold Fox, and It's a Mood. So for this one, I decided to kiss Stone Cold Fox. I'm personally not a huge fan of mega palettes. I don't really own a lot of the mega palettes from Colourpop. I don't think I've tried any of these, maybe Bare Necessities a while ago, but I think usually with the mega palettes, I end up giving them away just because I prefer smaller palettes. 9 pan, you know, 10, 11, like something along those lines. Those are great for me. So for Kiss, I did Stone Cold Fox. I love the cool tones. This was a tough one for me because I do feel like I could wear cool tones every single day, but I also feel like maybe that one's just like a little more on the fun side, if you will. So I decided to bury. That's the other game, Sam. I decided to marry Bare Necessities because it's just more of what I would wear on an everyday basis. I usually go for a little bit more warm tones, and I thought that like it's a stunning palette. If this one was smaller, I'd probably still have it in my collection, but that's why we decided to marry Bare Necessities, and I would kick It's a Mood. Beautiful, like it looks pretty. I like the jewel tones, and I thought about putting this one in for Kiss because it's like, oh, you know, it has some more color in there. So I went back and forth on that one. I still feel like I can do cool tone looks with even more of these basic color shadows. So that was the final verdict. We're gonna kiss Stone Cold Fox, we're gonna marry Bare Necessities, and we're gonna kick It's a Mood. This is tough. Next up, we are moving over to holiday palettes. So for holiday palettes, we have from Too Faced the Pumpkin palette. We have from Colourpop, this is their Rudolph palette. And then from Odin's Eye, this is one of their new holiday palettes. I think this one is the Merry Christmas palette, I believe. Okay, I just wrote down the holiday palette. So for this one, I have decided to kill the Too Faced palette. I know I said earlier that I did, Too Faced was what I kind of started getting into makeup with. Their little like cardboard palettes that had the I Look cards in them, like that is where I started with, and I really did enjoy those. But then once we got to some of these, like I loved the Sweet Peach, don't get me wrong, but some of their holiday palettes, I'm like, I'm just not really feeling these. So I feel like I could kick that one. I decided to kiss the Colourpop Rudolph palette. It's so cute. I have it and I really like the quality of it, and I thought it was just like such a fun palette. But again, a little bit more like flash in the pan, like I like you right now, but I'm probably not gonna like you like for the rest of my life type of thing. And then I decided to marry the Odin's Eye. The Odin's Eye holiday palettes impressed me so much. They came out with 2 palettes for holiday time. I loved that it wasn't a gigantic collection. I believe I touched on the Odin's Eye holiday palettes when I did the new makeup releases tag, which was a collab with my friend Angelica. And we talked about like best holiday releases and best indie releases. And I talked about this from Odin's Eye. Super impressed with that one. I am an affiliate with Odin's Eye. I would highly recommend their eyeshadow formula. My code is Samantha. I'm also an affiliate with Colourpop. We got the code March Beauty, and an affiliate with Sigma. Code is Samantha. All right. Okay, and then we just have one more category left to go, and this is Colourpop purple palettes. Okay, so we have It's My Pleasure, Amethyst, and Orchid You Not. Orchid You Not. So for this one, I decided to, where should we start? I decided to marry It's My Pleasure. I feel like I could make a joke about the name there, but I'm not going to. But It's My Pleasure was, it was just like a favorite palette of mine from Colourpop. I love wearing purples. I know I said earlier, like I love wearing greens. I love wearing the oranges, the yellows, and the reds, but I also love me some purple so much. So this was a really challenging category, but It's My Pleasure. I remember it coming out from Colourpop and just being like, wow, they did it. Like they did it. So I had to give it to It's My Pleasure. I said kiss the Orchid You Not. I actually haven't tried that one, but I liked that it was just like a little bit like, like it looked a little fancy, you know what I mean? Like, okay, take me on a date, like let's have a good time, and then I'll go back to It's My Pleasure, you know what I'm saying? And then we are going to kick the Amethyst palette. I believe I did try this one also, but just again, I was kind of like looking online and kind of familiarizing myself with the shadows, and I was like, out of all of them, I feel like I could kick this one. Looked a little bit lighter, probably not something I'm gonna reach for on a super regular basis. So that is how I decided to end it with the Colourpop purple shadows. Please leave some of these in the comment section. I hope you enjoyed this game. Of course, it's nothing too serious. I'm not out here actually punting eyeshadow palettes across Las Vegas Boulevard, okay? So it's not too deep or anything, but I would absolutely love to know what you thought. Again, make sure to go check out Amanda's video, and I hope that you just had fun with this one, because I had so much fun going through the list. I was texting Amanda like, I don't know if I'm confident in my answers, but I'm doing it because it's just supposed to be funny. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. I hope you also consider subscribing before you go, and I'll see you in my next video.